Opening in theaters this week from 20th Century Studios is Amsterdam, starring Christian Bale and Margot Robbie, and here's my review. David O. Russell's made a career out of directing films where characters concoct a wild plan and through their own determination attempt to make it succeed. Whether it's Three Kings or American Hustle, he has usually done well in depicting the strange dynamic between his characters. Amsterdam attempts to follow in the footsteps of Russell's previous movies, but the result is a meandering and messy story that's all over the place, and one isn't even sure what he's trying to say until the very end. Despite the group of talented actors at his disposal, Russell's given them extremely little to work with. Amsterdam employs an odd structure as it attempts to juggle and develop its various comical characters. The film jumps over the place, utilizing flashbacks and other devices to build a mystery that's not the least bit intriguing. Every character is given a single quirk that defines them and little else, leaving the actors dangling as they search for the character's purpose. Even Christian Bale, who is rarely given an underwhelming performance in his career, is mostly left to fend for himself as his doctor protagonist, and there's little to latch onto with his character. Margot Robbie fares the best out of the cast and is able to provide a little bit of spark to her underwritten character. A whole bunch of recognizable actors pop up throughout the film, but these mostly serve as distractions. The entire purpose of every single name in this movie is to trade banter with one another, but very little of it is amusing. Russell brings in notable names like Mike Myers, Chris Rock, Anya Taylor-Joy, Michael Shannon, and his frequent collaborator Robert De Niro, and none of their talents are well utilized. Scenes appear like they will never end, as characters partake in uninteresting and directionless conversations with little wit or comedic momentum. Amsterdam runs almost 2 hours and 50 minutes, and every single second is felt, as there's little interest in where the plot goes. At a certain point, it does eventually become somewhat clear what Russell's trying to say with this movie, but it happens too late into the story. It's an intriguing aspect to comment on, but the film barely has the time to explore it, because of how much time has been wasted on other nonsense. The editing is strangely unwieldy, as there's no flow between scenes, or they end abruptly before launching us into the next comedic scenario the characters find themselves in. Amsterdam bills itself as a mystery and a comedy and disappoints in both genres. Everyone in the cast is trying really hard to sell their characters, but the dialogue they're required to say is insufferable, and as a result, so are many of the people we see on screen. David Russell is able to create a chaotic energy in his previous films, and while Amsterdam is certainly chaotic, it lacks energy. Most annoyingly, it lacks a single compelling thread to keep one engaged and curious about where the characters will end up. In the end, the film's biggest problem is that it's dull and spends far too much time on annoying conversations that give little insight into who these people are and why we should care about what's happening to them.